Last week on the news, I heard them talking a lot about a new report by the Center on Substance Abuse and Addiction in Canada that had a warning that no amount of alcohol was healthy and recommended no more than 2 drinks per week. Per week. By the way, I summarized the report and I included it in the description below. But I tell you, after I heard it, I was like, now they tell me. Does that mean I drink a lot? According to a test I did, which is linked in the description, I actually did this test a few decades ago, or at least one like it. And it has these 11 questions, and depending on how many you answer yes, it's a pretty good indication of whether you are an alcoholic or not. And I passed the test with flying colors because there was only one question that I did not answer yes to. Now, I've also heard people say there should be warnings on every bottle and can of alcohol, and I totally agree. Now, I was never tempted by alcohol in my teens. Maybe it's because my father drank, and when he'd get drunk, he sometimes get violent, and that really scared me. It wasn't until my early 20s that I started drinking just moderately, social drinking with friends. I mean, drinking was fun then. It was never excessive, but that all changed after my first divorce and during my second marriage. My new husband was an alcoholic and I didn't even know it. Until one day, I found a stash of booze hidden in the back of a closet and I confronted him with it and he confessed that he was indeed an alcoholic. And it was after that divorce that drinking hit a new high. I mean, it went from this level to this level. Well, some bad relationships followed. The company I worked for went bankrupt, and my next job was extremely stressful. Now, just a quick pause here to tell you about a poem I wrote called Sobering Thoughts. It's in my new ebook titled Recycled Love, and I'll read the poem at the end of this video. Now, some people I worked with drank at lunchtime and after work, usually at a bar or a restaurant. Now, I sometimes also drank wine at lunch to calm my nerves. However, I did it in my car, in the parking lot of a shopping mall, because going out to lunch was expensive, especially when you're drinking. At least that was my excuse. But it was no better at home. I'd have a glass or two with dinner, and then I'd end up finishing the whole bottle. Then I'd stagger off to bed and wake up with a massive headache. Way too often. I actually documented a day-by-day account of one whole year where I was particularly confused and depressed after my second divorce in my ebook called Diary of a Stranger. Reading back in that diary feels like I'm reading about somebody I don't even know, thus the title. But the most I drink these days is 1 or 2 light beers a week. In summary, I wish I would have known more about the health consequences of drinking a long time ago, and I can't help but wonder how many brain cells I've killed off over the years by drinking, and how much better I might feel if I had known enough to drink less or not at all. Sobering thoughts of time wasted, getting wasted, complete with blackouts, head-splitting hangovers, vomiting vile fluids into stinking toilet bowls. Always the last guest to leave a party, rarely without pausing to blather, "I love you guys," to bleary-eyed hosts I could not have cared less about. As always, if you have any comments or questions, just enter them in the comment section below. Cheers, everyone!